Hi guys, I'm Janet, the communication coach, and this is Rosie, my 2-year-old who is homesick. She has a little cough today, so she'll be helping me to do a video, which I think is a very appropriate topic, is communicating with your 2-year-old to develop and foster a long-term relationship that is trusting.
And I keep walking.
And to help them to feel a sense of self and really develop that self-confidence that will really help her into the future. So one thing to know about little kids is that they're not individuated. Absolutely.
I keep picking, and then I just want to pick.
Okay. In a second, okay, honey? So how they see themselves is how they see themselves reflected in us. If we treat our children like they are nuisances or that what they're doing is shameful to us, that's how they're going to start seeing themselves, and that really builds up their sense of self as they grow up into the future. The goal that I want to communicate to the rest of you is that we want to build up kids who can self-soothe, teach them how to cope, have a really strong sense of who they are, and value things that are important to you, things that you find important and have helped served you in life. You want to translate that into something that your kids can also use for their own lives. So one important thing is when it comes to discipline, remember to stay grounded. Okay, our kids do things all the time that might annoy us, or are things that we want them to stop, certain behaviors. But the first and foremost thing is to stay grounded. Find out who's in the driver's seat. Is it the anger in yourself that's in the driver's seat and fostering that communication? Or is it you allowing yourself to stay grounded by doing some deep breathing, which Rosie and I do together all the time when we're feeling overwhelmed. Let's try that now. Take a deep breath in and breathe out. Right, doing that just a few times and feeling your feet on the ground, maybe even clenching your toes a few times and just wiggling them around, just bringing yourself back out of fight or flight mode and really grounding yourself can really help you to have that open communication with your child that makes it a lot easier for them to understand you and really listen to what you have to say. Now, one of the best tools that you can teach your kids is also to ground themselves. Kids go wild very often, Sometimes they might just have too much sugar to eat. It might have been someone's birthday, or they're just having this overload of energy. And so you want to give them a way to deal with those overwhelming emotions or those overwhelming speeds and just bring them back down. So whether it's deep breathing or giving them a timeout, timeouts don't have to be these horrible things. They can just be a quiet space for a child to be able to calm themselves down. These are tools that are going to help them well into adulthood, teaching them to calm down. And that's something that you want to build, that trust relationship where they know that they're not being shamed for who they are. You're not a bad kid. It's just that you're teaching them that certain things that they do are not appropriate and are not acceptable, and that they will be punished for those things. Now, that's right, honey. Now, it's way harder to discipline a child appropriately than it is to be permissive and just allow them to do it in the short run. Absolutely. It's something that we have to take on ourselves to be very intentional about how we want to shape our children. But in the long term, it's going to pay off in, the returns are going to be so much more enormous because it's going to allow our children to develop that internal compass of what feels right for me. And believe it or not, even 2-year-olds, if you ask them, did you know what you did was wrong? They'll be able to tell you if what they did was wrong or right. And they'll be able to know it within themselves. If you can really help them to develop that internal compass, then discipline becomes much, much easier as they get into those really difficult teenage years as well. Okay, so guilt is okay, feeling guilty about something that you've done, but shame is not. Saying that you're a terrible person for having done this or sending that message, it's not okay because that really builds into their self-confidence as they grow up. You also want to help them to see perspective. Believe it or not, even 2-year-olds are capable of seeing other people's perspectives. When you ask them, would you like it if somebody did this to you? Oh yes, mangoes, honey. Okay, I'll give you another one, honey. So you're able to see other people's perspectives, and the more that you can share that with them and challenge them to grow in that way, the more socialized they'll become, and they'll be able to deal with their friends better and become better leaders as well. Another thing that I cannot emphasize enough is spending, we'll pick it up in just a minute, honey, is spending 5 minutes of time with them and just completely undivided attention with each child. If you could spend 5 minutes a day with them, just asking them about their day, ask them to tell you a story, or maybe share a story with them about a win that you feel is appropriate for their age. 5 minutes a day can really lead to developing a strong bond and a trusting relationship. You're building the foundation when they're this young. You're building a foundation for a lasting relationship, or even well into adulthood. They'll be coming to you, not so much as somebody who manages their life anymore, but as a consultant. Right? As you get older, you become a consultant for their lives. They're going to come to you to ask you for advice, and you want to have within them that trusting relationship that you want what's best for them, and that they always know that. So those are just some ways to communicate with a 2-year-old and develop a positive relationship. So this is Janet, and this is Rosie. We're going to say bye for now as we eat some mangoes and hang out and do our 5-minute chat for today. Bye.